As I said yesterday, not easy to win a game in this league, and so it was good to see our guys come through. Really proud of the players and the coaching staff staying with it there for all of 60 minutes. We needed that whole time, and I just love how they competed and they found a way. So very pleased with that. Obviously, we don't want to lose a two-score lead like that late in the game. Um, that's not a recipe that we want to live with. And so for us to sustain what we got going on right now, we got to clean some of that up. But with that being said, it is good to see our players today. I know they're focused on fixing our mistakes, and we'll be ready to go next week. One injury update to acknowledge: Dio has an Achilles, so we'll end up not having him for the rest of the season. Uh, and with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
Go ahead, Pat.
Hey Ben, Caleb's a unique athlete at quarterback. What did you like about being able to get the ball in his hands as a receiver, and what can you appreciate about kind of the different threats that he offers that other quarterbacks might not?
Yeah, he is a great athlete. He can beat you any number of ways. Traditional quarterback play in the pocket, really strong arm, can throw the ball down the field. But then also his legs add another element to the equation. And so I think we saw yesterday, I think he had 53 yards on the ground, which was really encouraging to see. That helped us extend some drives, and we needed it in certain times. So that was awesome. And then yeah, it worked out that way, to where we were able to take advantage of that defense just a little bit, get them outnumbered on one side of the field, and get the ball to him. So it was good. It was good. He came through for us.
What did you see about him in the pocket upon further review? I know you had offered yesterday that he didn't throw a pick, but that you wanted to take a look at everything else.
Yeah, no, there's a number of things that I was pretty pleased with. It's looking more like I want it to look, that he wants it to look like. I can think of one particular instance off the top of my head before halftime where call play and they end up clouding it to the side of the primary. So that's not there. He gets through his progression and quickly dumps the ball to the back as he's stepping up in the pocket. Now, we didn't throw our best ball. It was a little bit high and we didn't haul it in, but that to me was what we want this quarterback to look like as he's playing within the timing and the rhythm of the offense and trusting his feet to take him through the progressions. So something for us to build on. There's a couple that we can continue to clean up, and I think he's starting to play faster. The more reps we're getting on some of these concepts, he's understanding the intent, the coverages that we're really looking to get, and if we're not getting those coverages, can we quickly get to number two or number three, or even look to run with that ball? So it's coming along nicely.
Courtney.
Hey Ben, with the Dio news, like how comfortable are you right now with the edge rusher depth you have behind him if he's out since he's out for the season? And like will that potentially influence anything you guys do ahead of tomorrow's deadline?
Yeah, I mean it's one of those deals. It feels like we take some strides in particular positions and we take some steps back. It's wild. Felt like we had a solution there with Shamar at defensive end a couple weeks ago, and then we lost him, and then finally get Booker back, and then we lose Dio. So it's a little bit of give and take. That's the course of the NFL season. That happens, and so we'll have guys step up. I thought Book did play a nice game yesterday, so was very pleased to see that for his first game back. And so, no, I do have a lot of confidence there. Hopefully, we get Dom Robinson back too, and he was doing some nice things there early in the season as well. We've got some depth. You can never have too many pass rushers. You can never have too many cover players in the back end either. So that's how I've always felt since I've been in this league. I know Ryan and his crew, they've been doing their due diligence all throughout the fall, all the way up until tomorrow to make sure that we're turning over every stone to make sure that if there's a way we can improve this roster, we'll do that. But I feel good about the guys we have on the roster currently.
And have you been able to, or I guess, how did you diagnose what went wrong on kickoff return yesterday with the first one, and then I think Cincinnati second, there was a 38-yard return.
Our kickoff coverage, their return.
Kickoff coverage.
Yeah, it's lane integrity. We got to do a better job shedding blocks, rallying to the football. We're too passive at times. there's a number of things that we can clean up there, and it's not just any one particular player. It's everybody. It's all the coaches. It's all the players. We got to get this thing fixed. And it wasn't just kickoff coverage either. There were a number of elements that we can get better at. That's been the emphasis already today. We talked about it as a team. It's all hands on deck. We're going to get this thing fixed.
Dan?
Ben, what was your reaction to the overturn of the Tremaine Edmonds pick six?
Um, you know, I guess I don't get too caught up in it. They're going to make their call, and with those particular things, I know they're looking at all their angles. So I just trust that they're making the right decision, and within the context of it. It doesn't matter if I agree with it or our guys upstairs agree with it or not. We just whatever they say, we're going to go with, and there's really not a whole lot we can do about it. So. Would have been a huge play for us and given us a lot of momentum, and I think it would have stopped that little bit that they had going, and certainly would have made the ending of the game different. But man, we had a lot of opportunities there between our defense finding a stop, between special teams recovering the onside kicks, and then on offense we had a 4-minute opportunity and we went three and out. And so it's everybody. We got to do a better job.
On the topic of Caleb scrambling, I know that's been an emphasis here in recent weeks. What happened for him yesterday that unlocked it in the way that it got unlocked yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know that route wise we did a whole lot different. I think our guys had some pretty good reactions when they saw him get flushed out. He threw some good catchable balls and they came down with it. And then there were a few times where he was looking down the field, it wasn't there, and he decided to take off with his legs. And so it was a good mix of that. It wasn't like he was trying to overdo it with his legs or try to force anything with his arm. I think he found the right balance with uh, playing fast and making the defense hurt. I think that's part of what makes him unique as a player. And like I've said so many times before, that's we want to incorporate that as part of the offense. We don't want to shy away from it.
Herb?
Coach, in terms of complementary football, there's been different times, different years throughout the season, whether it's offense, red zone efficiency, while the defense was taking the ball away for times, or whether it's run defense, or yesterday they give up 40, special teams doesn't play that well. What is that encouraging that you guys haven't really played full complementary 60-minute football, but you still have 5 wins? And what gives you the confidence that you guys can all come together for the same 60-minute game?
Yeah, we haven't played our best football collectively as a team yet. And yet, like you said, we have found a way to win. And I think this way was a little bit different than what it's been so far. There were times this year that I felt like we won in spite of the offense, and this was probably the first time I felt like the offense had a big say in us winning that game. And so that was encouraging to me just for that phase. But you're right. I do think we can come together, and there's been at least 3 games in my head that we've allowed the opponent to hang around, and we've allowed them to have a little bit of life late in games that we want to start to eliminate that feeling. We want to close these games out a little bit cleaner earlier in the game, and I thought yesterday was an example of that.
Kevin?
Hey Ben, I know the end of half, you guys have had some struggles the past few weeks. Yesterday specifically, what did you see that was just not clicking with the passing game in that final drive before halftime?
Well, we took it on down, and we did get in field goal range, right?
Yeah.
And so that was a good thing. Yeah. I mean, we took it down, and we had a couple shots, tried to get some shots in the end zone. It didn't work out for a couple of reasons. I was a little bit off, as I alluded to after the game, just the end of half. I couldn't match up the play call with the right coverage a couple times, and I was hopeful that I could. But with that being said, I thought we did a good job getting it into scoring distance and an opportunity for us to make a kick there before halftime. I think the second to last possession on offense, I was kind of caught in limbo, to be honest with you, a little bit, whether to go for it or not on that fourth down. I think we did the right thing by taking the points, but part of me too wants to let's see if we can't not only score the touchdown, but also even if it's just get the first down and drain some more clock off to make it a little bit harder on their offense. Those are things that go on in my head over the course of those particular sequences. But in hindsight, I think we did the right thing, taking the points, and then you saw we got another chance at it at the end.
What did you like
Phil?
about the throw to DJ on that drive before half, like on third down, that kind of helped get you in a field goal range?
Shoot, I'm trying to think which
Kind
one
of the
that was.
fade down
Oh
your
yeah,
guys'
yeah, yeah.
seven.
No, no, that was really well done. We ran that play against New Orleans, and that's the one where Colston got called for the OPI, and it got called back. We threw it to Swifty down the sideline, and so we ended up feeling like that was a good time to call that one. We just changed up the formation a little bit with who was where, trying to get it snapped a little bit quicker and hopefully them not aligned quite right. And I thought we did a good job executing that. It was a really nice throw there by Caleb. I thought the protection was good, not only on that play. I think throughout the day, I thought our O line played really good football. We had some very clean pockets, and that was a huge play for us in that moment.
Go ahead, Phil.
Thank you. Ben, Joe Flacco obviously had 470. Higgins had 121. You said you need to review the film. What was it? Technique, assignment? What did you see on tape?
Yeah, I saw two incredible athletes at wideout that made their fair share of plays and made life hard on us. I think it started there. I think their other players are complementary players. I'm talking about the tight ends, the backs, and the third and fourth receivers. They hurt us too, probably more so than we were hoping going into that game. We knew that the guys covering those players were going to have to hold up for us because we're going to exhaust some resources to try to contain number one and number five. And we had a hard time. I'll say this. I mean, I feel like our corners they went out and they competed. That play before halftime where Five makes the play over Shawnee. I mean, that's just an incredible play by him. Because Shawnee had pretty good coverage throughout that, and so those are the ones you can sleep at night thinking about. I know DA's doing everything he can to help those guys while still creating a pass rush, and mixing up the coverages to make it hard on Flacco. Flacco, I mean, when you're 40 plus years old, he's just the recognition aspect of the game and playing quarterback comes so easy for you, and I think that's what showed up at times yesterday. He could sit back there and he was getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He recognized the coverage, knew where we were most vulnerable, and picked us apart a little bit. And so that's the challenge when you go against some really good pass catchers and a veteran quarterback. I will say this though about our defense. You look at it, and I know the scoreboard says 42 points. I know that we allowed 35 on defense, but with just over 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, we had only allowed 20 points on defense. So had we handled as a team the last part of the fourth quarter the right way, I think we would have felt a lot better about our defensive performance.
And then I know you say you appreciate that your players never think that they're out of it, but what was your message today to make sure that they don't rely on that as a crutch, that it doesn't come out to bite them at some point?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the acknowledgement that we've had several games so far where we could close teams out, and we haven't done that yet. Not at least what we're capable of doing, and so a little bit of that killer mindset, if you will. I think we've done a great job finding way to win games. We're never out of it. Just like you said, I think the next step for our growth as a team is to start closing these things out a little bit earlier in the game.
Jason?
Hey Ben, two questions for you going into the trade deadline tomorrow. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, but how do you weigh, with the voice that you have in terms of personnel, how do you weigh the pressing needs versus protecting those future assets that you need to build something long term here?
Those are always great questions. Ryan and I have a constant dialogue on players that might be available. We talk nonstop about this, and we've been doing it for a while now. And so he's doing, like I said, all of his due diligence and making sure we look at everyone that could be available and that could help this football team in the here and the now, and also have in the back of our head what the ramifications of that also are and the consequences when you give up capital whether it's players or draft picks, what that does to your roster in the long term. So it is a balancing act, but it's one that I think we have a really good process and a lot of communication on.
As you look at, things that will help you right now, the possibilities that you could of moves you could make, how do you view the division and the NFC at large after 8 games for you guys?
Yeah, no, we're right in the mix of it. I think the message to our guys going out of the bye week was we had to find a way to win 3 out of the next 4, and we've done that. And because of that, we're sitting at a place about halfway through the season. We're 5-3, and that's the parity of the NFL each and every year. It goes down to the wire, and so there's a lot at stake. I mean, we can go any number of which ways here the second half of the season, and I think it's something our guys are gonna get pretty excited about here. So I'm pleased with where the team is from a mindset perspective. You certainly look at the division. This is in my opinion one of the toughest, if not the toughest division of football. I felt that way for a couple years now, and I think when you look at all 4 of these teams, I think it could be any team could win this thing.
Last one, Andy.
Yeah, Ben, just is there any update on Cole?
Concussion protocol, and we're hopeful we can get through that here this week.